Okay, just wanted to share this because I don't know, I haven't seen too many people using this yet, but I decided on using this AP foil faced polyiso 3/4 inch. It has an R5 factor, and you know, I've learned a lot by working with it, what not to do and what to do to make things simple. On the first ones, it's, you know, I seem to be bending it and using a mallet to kind of bend it in place, you know, and it seemed to work okay. And then I was using spray adhesive, this stuff here, Loctite spray adhesive. But then I realized that it might be good to have a little airspace up there and not glue it. It's a little bit harder, but if you do it in pieces around the curves, I mean, it does bend, and you could see here this one piece, you know, bend, but it's much easier to cut like a 6-inch piece and then go from there, and then the next way around 7.5 and 7.5 on the second layer. Okay, and I think that's kind of the best way to deal with it going up fast. Otherwise, you're pounding and breaking, and it's just a mess. So, but on the final round, and I had the foil facing up on the top, and you can see there's like maybe a little airspace still there. Not much, but maybe it'll do something with the concentration. I don't know. But what I'm doing is I'm taping all the joints so that there's no joints exposed, you know, thinking, okay, so it's got foil face, condensation from the bus going into the roof is not going to happen if I have it, you know, nicely taped here. And then as you can see, you know, I got these panels back in. I think this, you know, I chose to not do the whole wood thing and wood framing and, you know, preventing the metal bridges and all, you know, thermal bridges. I think there's an issue for me with safety and, you know, structural integrity. I think the bus was designed to have these screws. One of the things I want to mention, you know, putting the foil face down, you can kind of see it, you know, see the foil markings and everything showing through. If I suppose if you don't want to see that, you can put both sides actually have foil, but the back side is actually non-reflective. They put a non-reflective coating on it. So actually both have this foil. One side has non-reflective. So, you know, you have this acoustic panels. The first two are acoustic panels. They have holes in it. You might want to put the non-reflective side down if you don't want to have the shiny silver markings coming through, but it kind of looks cool on some level. So anyway, so that's my experience with this stuff. You know, what I do is, you know, I mark it, and then, you know, then once I mark it, I back and forth cut it. Okay, this one's already cut. And then, of course, see here, then bend it. And then, let's see if we can do this with the camera. Okay, so here's my piece that I'm going to be putting up in here, and it should go nicely in without glue, especially if you're doing, like I said, I actually needed a third piece in here because it was like over 48 inches to do one piece, so I had to stick a little scrap piece I had left over. I think that's what I found. Oh, and then the cracks, like if you have a crack, and instead of trying to jam it together, I just have used spray foam in the crack there. And I don't tape the joints on the inside. I don't know that it's going to do any good in terms of insulating. I suppose you could, but I have, you know, my joints are pretty tight, and where they're not, I will use the spray foam to seal it. Still wet there. And that's about it. So that's my experience with this stuff. We will see how it works out. You know, basically I'm going to have a total R factor of 10, which isn't bad for an 1 and 3/4 inch space, which is what you got. So basically when you get your second, and you know, thank goodness, because there, like I said, there's little air space in there, and you can see how this moves. But once you get your, you know, sealing back on, then, you know, if it drops, that's fine. You got a little air space in there. So hope that helps, save you some trouble. But definitely cut the first 2 pieces, 6 inches, 6 inches, and then the next one you can go 7.5 and 7.5, so you're overlapping the joints. And that seems to be working pretty good, as opposed to I tried using V cuts, and it still messes up. It's really hard to work with when you're trying to, you know, jam it in there. So this kind of works really nice. Like I said, at least 2 pieces. In this case, I needed 3 because I you know, the space in between was more than 48 inches. So there it is. I think this is the polyiso has the least flame retardant because it has a very high melting temperature, or burning temperature. The foil, they said, seems to contain it. It's probably one of the reasons I chose not to use spray foam, because you know, you got all this foam directly, you know, on top of you. I mean, this is actually the same kind of closed cell foam, but I have this metal barrier here that's containing it. Now, we'll see. My nose is pretty good. If you know, I hope in the end here, everything is said and done. I also plan to use this in my walls, by the way. You know, you got that almost 2-inch space, so you can put 2 layers of this. I'm not going to do the whole wood framing thing. I'm just putting the wood directly on. I think the thermal barrier or thermal bridging stuff is like all over. I mean, you got windows here, single pane windows, metal. I don't plan to use this bus living in the wintertime, so I didn't think that was a big issue. I kept it simple. I didn't have to buy new ceiling, wood, framing, all that stuff. So that's kind of the route I'm going. I haven't pulled out my floors yet, but when I do, I'm going to put 2x4s on their side. You know, like this board here, it would be on the side. And then I'm going to put hardwood, and I'm going to put this polyiso in between 2 layers, just like I'm doing in the walls. And then I'm going to cover it with hardwood flooring. So I'm going to have this every 16 inches, and then hardwood floor. I'm not going to put plywood at all. I'm going to go keep the, you know, minimum, you know, save as much ceiling room as possible. I'm going to just put the hardwood flooring that, you know, right over every, you know, nail it every 16 inches. These guys glued to the floor, the 2x4s. Someone told me not to take it all the way to the edge, the 2x4, because then you got the thermal bridging again. Right, so, you know, I guess I can do that. I can leave an inch or so space, and that's what I'm gonna do with the floors. So probably in the future I'll have another video on that. But anyway, so this is how it's looking so far. You know, I really like, you know, the finish. Putting the panels back on. I chose to keep the speakers in place and the lights in place. I don't plan on using these lights. I'm going to use RV lights. So instead of digging into my insulation so this recesses, I'm just going to use an RV light mounted on the surface. This is my power, and I might use lights. This is my, you know, your panel that covers all your wiring. I might put some more once I get it all designed and finished, I might wire in some RV lights, you know, attach it to right near, so the wire just kind of comes down into the trough there of wires. And there's not wires, so I might do more mounting of lights along the edge here. I figure once I got my layout done, then I'll know where I might want to put more lights, see how these lights work out, and maybe that's enough light. So I just wanted to add something here that I put this piece in here, and when you stick it in, you kind of set the ends in place and then pound it in place like that, and whatever. Sometimes you might have to cut this here in order to fit in if you didn't measure exactly correct, or depending on how it goes in. As you can see, I have a crack in there I'm going to have to fill a little bit, but just wanted to add that. Rubber mallet comes very much in handy, and you can see I have enough space for the next layer of insulation. All right. Okay, so I'm going to pound this one piece into place.
But normally I get the one end again, then I try to line up each end here and get that in. And then once I got my ends in on both sides, I just go down. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so now I'm going to put probably a piece to here. I think going to here would be too much of a bend and it would end up cracking, so I'm going to go halfway. And then the same with the other side, because it's exactly a replica of this. And then I'll just continue with overlapping this seam right here. I'll probably end up here, and then I'll fit a little piece in at the end here. So,
okay, another little trick I just recently uncovered is just putting a little groove, a little V groove in here on this outside. You put your 7.5 inch piece here. Underneath you have a 6-inch and a 6-inch. The seam is over there, and then you have the 7.5 inch, and then you put another 6-inch here. And once you get up to here, then everything else is free sailing there, as far as like nice little curve. You can bend this stuff pretty easy, but I find that it wants to stick out over here, and by putting this groove, it it pushes in very nicely, and it kind of conforms with the curve. We're almost done here. We got 3 more rungs to do, or 3.5, and got all of that done so far. So it's slow moving, but hey, I think everything will go a lot faster once I get the ceiling done, because these sides are going to be easy sleazy. Really easy. And nice thing about this 3/4 inch foam, you can see that there's down in here there's screws sticking out. Now I've heard people saying, well, we got to unscrew them from the outside when we try to put insulation. Well, the nice thing about this 3/4 stuff is, let me get a piece here, is that you could fit it in where, on this side of the screw, and then all you have to do is then push it in right over the screw. So it's, as opposed to using 2-inch insulation, and I don't know how people deal with these screws in that respect, but it's really nice. You put in the 3/4 piece, push it in, the screw goes into the foam, and then you can slide your next piece in. So that's another advantage of using these 3/4 inch foam pieces. Takes a little longer, but maybe not so longer. I don't know how people are doing it with the 1.5 or 2-inch foam. Seems like that would be quite a challenge, and a lot of pieces cut, which I've seen. So you're not, you see, I don't have a lot of pieces cut here, just on the very end. You do this, and the rest of it goes real smooth. So one other thing I want to mention about wires, I have speaker wires here. As you can see, wires for speakers, wires for lights. I'm not going to actually use these lights. I'm going to use some LED things. But anyway, these are the wires. And speaker wires for the radio. What I do is I just dig a channel into the foam, and I hide my wire in that. And you can see what I'm doing here, just hiding the wire in the thing and then covering it with foil tape. Alright, so I got that covered all the way and the wire's hanging out. So I started my bus up. Try to run it every once a week here. And always happy when I hear that engine purring. But we're making progress. I'm gonna get these ceiling panels up tomorrow, and I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more panels, and then see if I can get another 1 or 2 of these done, ceilings done. We're rounding the bend here. Here it is. Well, such a beautiful sight here. We just put in 2 more ceiling panels. We're gonna put 3 more in today. It looks so sweet when it's back together. So we got 3 more to do right here. 1, 2, 3, and then that one I'll leave open so I can tape it over there. 3 more ceilings to do. Insulations to do, 3 more ceilings. But it looks really nice. Looks like a finished bus. And one little added note there. This you can use any time kind of nozzle. Increase the price on this, more than doubled. But the lovely thing about it is if you take a pair of needle nose pliers and hold it down there, you can unscrew that, and guess what? You can just buy these $2.99 cans and screw it on. And anytime you need spray foam, this dries on the end. You just take off the end piece once it dried and you're ready to go again. So that's another little thing. I couldn't get an answer from the guy at the building center whether that would work or not, but I gave it a crack. No pun intended. And worked. Cool.